Retired U.S. Air Force General Blaine Holt, VP of Government Accountability Institute, Eric Eggers. All right, General, this was, I think, the finest display of diplomacy I have ever seen. I have always wanted an American leader to stand up and say, no, we're doing it my way.
You know, if President Trump's going to do this stuff, the least he could do is send out a popcorn alert so we could be all ready for these types of events. I wanted to have my jalapenos and my melted cheese nearby. It was a great display of American leadership. And President Zelensky started with the words, no ceasefire, more money, more weapons, tripling down on what Macron and Starmer had started with those emergency meetings. Yeah. They're tone deaf. They're just not listening to President Trump, and they're actually playing with fire. Here's why. Because there's a lot more that Europe can lose than just the Ukraine war in a proxy format. They could lose the United States' interest in security issues altogether in Europe, as President Trump has hinted many steps of the way, as he has said, you're going to start paying your freight. So, and even after all of this confab today, President Trump put out an olive branch of sorts to say, if you want peace, come back. So if I were Zelensky right now, I'd gather myself up, have a cocktail at the Blair House, and book a ticket to Mar-a-Lago and say, can we work this out, and come out Monday, kumbaya.
I think I agree with that. But Eric, I talked a little bit about stuff, and you were involved with, looking into the past history of Hillary Clinton and a variety of other things that were honestly cozied up to Russia. I don't think people understand that Trump is the only thing that stood between Russia and garnering more U.S. interests.
No, Carl, look, I'm excited to be on your show, but I'm honestly a little depressed you quit talking, because your monologue was excellent, and I think honestly should be required viewing for understanding the context of exactly what happened today, because I honestly think you nailed it. And yes, I was a producer on that documentary, Clinton Cash, that you showed. What you didn't say is the whole reason Hillary even initiated the Russian dossier is because they knew, because of the reporting in Clinton Cash, they're the ones, the Clinton campaign, that had a vulnerability about being too close to Russia and Vladimir Putin. And that's why they floated the fraudulent story about Trump's alleged Russian links. So they've always had the problem. The fact that Vladimir Putin is strong in the first place is because of the role that she and the Obama administration played in facilitating the transfer of those mineral rights, U.S. uranium rights, to Russia. And the reality is that the United States right now is in a stronger position after what happened today than they were even earlier today, because the only recourse that Zelensky has is to come back, hat in hand. You showed the tweet. He knows it. The rest of the world knows it. And the reality is that we're only going to become stronger. It's inappropriate for anybody to act like they're a panelist on a cable news show in the White House, interrupting the President of the United States, who has funded exactly what you've been up to for the last 3 years. Ukraine is used to a president that goes to bed early and gives in. Yeah. What Donald Trump shows today is he stays up and stands up for the American people, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, but General, let's go back to this mineral deal, because that was supposed to come out of this thing. But now, I mean, I don't think it's completely blown up, but at the same time, we have to, the only deal that's a bad deal is one that you're not willing to walk away from. And I think Trump proved that and kind of called Zelensky's bluff a little bit here.
Yeah. Not only did he do that, he moved the ball down the field a lot more sharply. So President Zelensky didn't even get to the Blair House out of that Suburban before he found out that Marco Rubio was then halting and pausing all infrastructure investment into their power grid. And then DOJ announced that they're going to step up and accelerate efforts to get into the corruption surrounding all the money that went into Ukraine and didn't hit the ground on the battlefield. And so I think what we're seeing now is a full court press to say, look, we're serious. We want the killing to stop, want the war to stop. Europe's not going to deter us from this. And President Trump is ready to go bullet nose head to head with President Putin. But none of that's going to happen until Zelensky plays ball.
Yeah, well, and Eric, I want to get to this. Some of that money we're spending over there, you're a guy who've always followed the money. It's going to their public pensions. It's going to their municipalities. It's not going to bombs on the front line.
No, it's going to ridiculous things. You're absolutely right. It's going to public pensions. Remember, they put former Commerce Secretary Penny Pritzker in charge of facilitating the U.S. investment in Ukraine. And she was like, well, maybe we can get them smart grid technology. I'm sorry. The United States has a massive deficit problem, and we're talking about, and that's more green giveaways to the Biden climate energy people, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. It's just like all the programs that DOJ is holding up and say, do you really want to be funding this? Do we really want to be funding the creation of fabricated technology that's only going to go to left-wing groups that fund stuff that's a pipe dream? Meanwhile, you've got people dying. And I would just say this, while people may have a problem, certainly the people on CNN have a problem with the tone that Trump took at times, you have no idea what he's saying to Vladimir Putin. The only difference is he's doing it diplomatically behind closed doors. I think Donald Trump has proven to be the ultimate deal maker, and I think he's clearly in the business of amassing leverage to fight for the American people, and that's what he did today.
Yeah, I'm wondering what they're all going to say when this actually works out and ends the war. General Holt, Eric Eggers, always a pleasure.
Take care.